Then I went for PBP, much more prepared and organized, and planned my sleep well, which is very critical. You can, if you sleep for a few hours, you can maintain a certain speed, you know. And so successfully finished that as the first Indian woman to ever finish it. Yeah.
That is such a proud thing, man. That is really, really amazing.
Yeah. So ultra distance is more like, first you have to break it down in your head. Even a ride like this, long distance, requires a lot of planning. Only then it will work. You have to train for it. You have to work towards it. Initially, when I used to ride, when I started out with my friends, the 20-kilometer rides, I did not know how to pump air into the bike. But these are things over a period of time you have to learn to do it yourself. If you're having a mechanical in the middle of the night when you're all alone, you have to fix it yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
You have to be self-sufficient. And being that self-sufficient makes you feel like so badass. It's like, yeah, you will struggle, you will suffer, but then you know that you're not so dependent on somebody. I don't need somebody to do these things.
All right. Buckle up, because this episode is a phenomenal story. My guest today is Grinshina Karthik, or like the world knows her better as Grinny, a woman who cycled through the toughest, wildest, and the most beautiful terrains in the world, collecting awards and accolades like they're some souvenirs kinds. First Indian to finish this, first Indian woman to complete that, and she also has a world record in tandem cycling. Awesome, right? But here's the thing. What makes my conversation with Grini today so special isn't just about the medals or the titles that she's won. It's her stories. And wow, does she have stories? Picture this: pedaling through Spain in 50-degree heat, or through Thailand's crazy humidity, or through France's freezing nights, or through India's cart roads where wild elephants like casually stroll by. And let's not forget the classic cycling experience of outrunning packs of very, let's put it, enthusiastic stray dogs. There are crashes, there are sunburns that are so bad that her skin's peeled off, and yet she just keeps riding. Grini isn't just a world class athlete, she's a storyteller, and honestly, someone I deeply admire. This conversation is just pure joy. So, get ready for some inspiration, some laughter, and maybe the urge to buy a really good bicycle. But as always, let's take a quick little break before we jump into a conversation with Grini. Hey, do you know we write a travel theme newsletter every week? Yep. And in each newsletter, we write about different destinations and travel experiences from around the world. In fact, you will get lots of information about this particular episode too in our newsletter. Photos, itineraries, stays, food recommendations, and a great place to connect with us when you have any questions. Head over to misadventuresofa.substack.com. That's misadventuresofa.substack.com. You will find the link in our bio as well. Thank you. All right, we are ready now to ride into a conversation. Grini, I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. I'm thrilled to talk to you. You've been someone that I have been following on Instagram and on the other social media things for years. Different fitness things starting from dance fitness to aerobics and all of that, to then being a killer cyclist the last few years. So I have been following you for a really long time. So having you on the podcast is like a dream. And I'm so happy to have you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Revati. It's my great pleasure to be here. Absolutely fun. Always talking to you. So looking forward to this.
Oh, yes. So for the listeners, she is Grinshina Karthik, but the world knows her as Grini. So for me, calling her Grinshina, I have to like make a lot of effort.
It's a mouthful for most people.
And just because I think I have started calling you Grini from the beginning, that's why Grini is what we'll be calling you today as well.
Sure.
So Grini, So what I did is I asked a few of my, we have a travel community that we are building through all the many podcasts that we have done the last, few couple of years.
Okay.
And we've done a few with other fitness enthusiasts and all that. So I sent your profile across and I told them that I'm going to be talking with this girl. I'm sure you will have some questions that you want to ask her. So there is this one lady who wrote to us. She has an overall very fit lifestyle, does multi-day treks, lots of running, cycling, and all of that, and pretty regular with all her fitness schedules.
Okay,
She is the
wow.
mother of two kids, and she wanted me to ask you, mainly keeping her kids in mind. So, did you start on this active, fit cycling kind of habit much earlier in life, like during your school phase? In her case, she has always been an outdoorsy person, but her love for this fitness has been a post 25, 30 kind of age. I mean, this whole running and
let
then
me let
it
me
going
just
much
let
higher.
me just stop you there. 25 in my view is young. Okay, 25 plus is very young. I started much later. So yeah.
Yeah, in her case it's 25, 30 kind of age. But she was more around, how do I get my kids to enjoy you don't have to be a marathon runner or something, but enjoy being
Yeah.
active and outdoors and things like that. So
See, I'm a mom of a teenage boy. So it's teenagers will never listen to you, but so you cannot tell them anything. And as kids, they are, they will try to do everything opposite of what you try to tell them. So
that's a good tip.
yeah, so do not tell them anything. Do your thing, and you will see them following you in many ways. Maybe they are not interested in ultra distance. Maybe that's not their thing, but they will find something else.
Yeah, football, cricket is cool.
Yeah, like my son loves football and
Oh.
he enjoys that game, and he's played at a fairly good level for one of the premier football schools in Bangalore.
Wow.
And he's represented India. I mean, that club for India and gone abroad.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so I mean, we cannot push them in the direction you want them to go. I would love to see him as a cyclist, but then for now it doesn't interest him so much, and maybe because his mom is doing it.
Yeah,
it's
uncool, right? You can't do the same thing. Yeah, uncool. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so they pick up what they like, and when I'm training, when I'm doing my thing, and I'm like sweating in the room and dripping, he'll be like, can I get you something, mom? He'll come running and
sweet.
check on me, and he'll be like changing my bottles, changing my feed, and he'll do all that. So he's very conscious of the effort I put in, the work that I put in. He understands that, and that's a big thing for me, that he's learning to support someone who is doing that. So and it builds from there. So I don't know where it will take him and how it's going to pan out in the future, but yeah, definitely from a young age he can start to be active. Another thing is like certain things when they're very young, I think you can push them maybe up till they're 10 or 12.
They listen to you a little bit.
Up to, yeah. So at that time, I used to like push him to karate classes.
Oh.
So, and it has stayed with him. Although he did not like it, he'll be like, Mom, it's so tiring. The trainer is like not so interesting. I don't like it, and this and that. But yeah, so at a younger age, you can still, coax them and be like, please, you do this, get a black belt, and then you're done. You don't have to do anything more for me. So yeah, there's a time when you can do, but as they grow older, they have their own choices and
so
priorities.
It's more of somewhere be around, leading by example, and hope that they will see that, and kahin se they'll like a sponge, they'll take something in kinds.
Yeah, and I think they will ultimately they will in life. So maybe it will come out later in life. It stays with them.
Yes. I will definitely ask about how it was for you as a kid, but before that, I have to introduce you to my listeners. I do not know how to introduce you, Grini. You are a real achiever, man. So Grini is an ultra endurance cyclist. And all these words she'll only explain because I don't think I'll do a very, very good job at it. But she's represented, or rather, she's gone on several international national and international events. In some, she is the first Indian to, complete it and or win it. In some, she is the first Indian woman to complete it or win it. It's crazy to listen to such kind of feats. And like I said before, I have been following her for a while. She's a killer dancer. So she was a lot into dance fitness at one time. And when it is dance fitness, it is a lot of aerobics and dance and all of it. And then, all the cycling that she does and all that. So it's ultra endurance cyclist is one part of it. She's overall, and what do I say, a fitness inspiration kind. I like that. A fitness inspiring person.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I have like a lot of things that I'm going to ask you, but tell me one thing. So when you were growing up, how were you as a child? Were you the girl who was into sports all the time kinds?
I was a typical Padaku kid. I was brought up in Bangalore's scientific community, DRDO township.
Oh
So
my
that's where
God.
that's where I grew up. There were like engineers and scientists all around me. My mom was working for DRDO.
Okay.
So it was like by default, everybody becomes an engineer. Become an engineer first, and then you decide what you want to do with your life. So
Okay.
no sporting activities. I mean, I was good at certain things like little bit of running, like
Okay.
short distance in school, like back in the day, like
Sports
what we
day
did.
events and all that. That
Sports
counts.
day event, exactly. I would go run 100 meters and like either come first or second. I mean, it was no training and we just used to go run. And somehow I ended up representing the school also for school level. and stuff.
Inter-school thing and all of those.
Yeah, whatever. So very bare minimum. Similarly in college also, like I used to go and just before college sports day and win whatever was there, 100, 200, all those running activities and some badminton and throw ball, whatever, or usual stuff. But
Wow. Then how did this whole Kida start?
middle age. It's called midlife crisis.
In your case, it's not crisis. It's a good thing that actually came around. But nice.
Yeah.
How, man? Tell me how to do. So then, like you said, college was just, here and there some. You go and play. More than sports, it's like a playing thing.
Yeah, it's like fun
fun
thing,
thing.
and you just do that. And so never in my life I thought I would do ultra distance, long distance. I was like, I didn't even know about it.
Didn't even know.
Yeah, it was in back when we were growing up, 90s and 2000s when I was working and all. There was no such thing. No, I mean, there's nobody to even emulate or look up to. All
correct.
There was no such things. And then when I started working, you completely switch off that sporting activities, taking care of your health, and you're like completely work mode. And
downhill. Health takes a
completely spiral. It was a complete downward spiral. And then there were times I would work continuously and kill myself literally. And then I used to end up in the hospital like a couple of times, had issues, and then couple of years down the line, my son was born. When he was like 14 months or so, I landed up in the hospital. It was like a moment of epiphany for me. It was really bad. I was thinking like, I want to see my child grow up and I have to do something to reset.
You've got to take care of the health. Otherwise, I mean,
I mean, there's no point in working like a crazy person and earning and nothing is important. Nothing is worth it. Only that crazy hospital episode made me realize like, I have to take charge of my life. I have to take care of my health. I cannot go on like this. I want to see this kid grow up. And I think around that time we moved to the US. And there I still had no clue. And I was this person who was I still am a little bit like that, very shy. And it would take a lot of effort for me to open up to new people and, do something. So I wanted to go to the gym, and we stayed right next to the gym in Philadelphia. And I was so withdrawn.
So pushing yourself to go to the gym was an effort.
Yeah, 6 months I paid for the gym. I did not enter.
Wow.
I did not set foot. I was so scared. I was so scared of people. I was so hesitant. I was like, did not want to be judged. How will I mean, it was a new country and everything was new.
Dude, I can totally get it. I have great gym phobia, by the way. How will I be
I
judged and things like that? Yeah.
Yeah, how will people look at me?
Mm.
And I was like, not even like the base fitness what I had before. I couldn't do any of those things and stuff like that. So it was very what do you call, difficult for me. And then one day I made up my mind. I'm like, okay, I'll just go for an hour, maybe 2 times a week or something. I'll go and see how it feels, and maybe join some group class where there are a lot of people. I can go and hide in the back. Yes.
Oh God.
So yeah, then there was this amazing spin class, wonderful instructor who made me feel like very comfortable, and the room was full of white people. There was no person of color. So it was a little bit intimidating. Although I have worked like in the US extensively and worked with people of different races and all that, but
it's all mind games. That's all.
Yeah, it's just a different setting,
Yeah.
and but she made me feel very comfortable. So, and then I used to go regularly, just do that and then run away back home. Then one day I saw this poster in the gym saying that they're going to start a run club.
Oh.
And they were going to have a run coach. And he was like this fancy US ATF certified coach. And I love running. It's like when I was a kid, I used to just go and do these short distance things. I used to feel like I'm flying. I mean, I was like really not fast and all that, but
now you get that feel.
I used to love it. And I was like, maybe I can rekindle that and, actually do something. And Philly in the summertime was like, everybody is out on the street. And then I started seeing so many different kind of people who were like, double my size, but they were running, and they were like people of different types and races.
All confidence. So that is going to build your confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, then I was like, maybe I should also, get onto this. And I spoke to this run coach, and I was like, okay, I will join this. And full into it. First day, he made me run around one local park, Washington Square Park, around that place. And I was so exhausted. I came back to him, and he made me do some core stuff and all that. I was like literally in tears, okay. And he said, the core is really bad, first of all. So we're not even going to start running, making you run. We'll just do some core workout. Once you have some basic strength, stamina, then only I'll make you run. And I was like, why is this guy doing this? I am not going to listen to him. And I stopped going. Why? Because I had signed up for a full marathon. Here, I can't even run a 5K. I had signed up
See them full, like a 10K or something full. I like such full confidence. Marathon, okay. Either 0 or 100, it's like that for you.
Yeah. I think that was 6-7 months down the line. I was like, why is this guy saying, I don't care about that. I will run very slowly. I will do something, but I will finish that full marathon on my own. I found some local events, and first 5K, then a 10K. I mean, I was like not fast and all that. Very, very basic, very slow, but
you were doing it.
Yeah, I did a half marathon. And then whenever I used to see this coach in the gym, I used to like duck in.
Where can I hide?
Like, yeah, where are you? Why are you not coming for this? Like,
Did you do the full marathon then?
Oh yeah, I did. I was like very, very slow. I finished, I think, among. So my son made the statement. He was like very tiny at that time. When he made the statement, he's like, "Mom, everybody's come and gone. Like, I thought you went shopping."
Cutie.
So I was finishing like among the 80-year-olds. I was running.
But with very, very low training, you've done it yourself almost.
Yeah, I did it myself. But yeah, I could have listened to him and done it in a much better way. But no, I had to sign up and do things my way. But yeah, that's how I am. Like, I mean, I'll be scratching the surface, but my goal is like something else. So I have been doing this for a very long time. Even when I was, I think I learned bachata first, and then I learned salsa. So I do things upside down. So yeah. And once you finish that distance, you feel confident. And then I'm like, yeah, now maybe I'll do it the proper way.
Now I'll get my core, rocking.
Yeah. And then I went like on a rampage with my core and this and that and all that. And then we returned to India, and I took a training, yoga teacher training.
Okay.
Then I learned how to stand upside down, and also yoga like grounds you and gives you that stability. It really helped me
Physically and mentally.
physically and mentally.
You did teach yoga as well, right?
Yeah, I taught for like 5-6 years. It was very exciting. I used to love doing that, and people still remember, and they'll be like, "Why are you not doing this anymore? Why did you leave us?" But I can't, I can't commit to it because my cycling takes away so much time and
wow.
effort.
So life started with running actually for you. So running, then yoga, then
Yeah.
post yoga. What was your next thing
Uh,
that you started off?
yeah. So dance was always like with me. Like I used to love pursuing dance, but just as a fitness activity. I still have not learned anything traditional, but maybe sometime when I'm much older, hopefully I can do that. Yeah. And then I stumbled into this cycling. So cycling was something I had seen in Philly.
Okay.
And even when I was working in the US, I used to buy a cycle off Walmart. Nobody does that. And then try to commute to work and stuff like that in the winter. So I've done all those
in the
stupid
winter.
things. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like so gloomy, right? It's dark and this thing. I wanted to just go out and get some fresh air. And I didn't want to be like cooped in a car, cooped in the house, cooped in the office.
Correct.
When you have a place like Bangalore, when you grow up in Bangalore, you don't really understand how blessed you are with the weather and everything. I mean, there's no place like Bangalore, okay, weather wise, people wise, and we are so blessed. And I was like, why do I have to go anywhere? I'm like so happy back home. So, and so when I came back, I taught for some time and then I stumbled into long distance because a couple of my friends whom I was teaching yoga, they were like, come on weekends, we will do long drives. And all. They were like, we do 20 kilometers on weekend. I was like, wow, how can you do 20 kilometers? And so then I started going with them. And then for about, I think, 1 or 2 years, we used to just do like majja rides and go and have breakfast.
Standard. This cycling cycling stories will always start off with. So we went there and we had a mast masala dosha and we came back.
Yeah, mine used to be kesari bath. So, so and then we conducted some. There is the cycle day events that happen across the city. The main body that helps organize that is DULT, the Department of Urban Land Transportation of Karnataka. It's a government organization. And so they had approached us and we were like, okay, our area, we will conduct an event and we will keep a cycle day. I think every 3 months, you are supposed to do that in frequent intervals. So we did that for a couple of months and we had like great turnout. And I met so many other cyclists at that point of time. And we did that even in my son's school. We had cycle day for his school. And
very nice, very nice.
Yeah. And then there is this whole crazy ultra cycling community I met who were doing like about 200 kilometers. And I was like, first of all, why would you do that? I mean, why would you put your body through that?
Just a year back, I was saying 20 kilometers and then you're saying 200?
Yeah, I'm like, that's so crazy. By then, I think I had just maybe done my first 100 then. And it was so tiring. I still remember that first 100. It was April, and that was the hottest day of the year in Bangalore for like in a decade.
In a decade, they'll have all those stats.
Yeah, in April it was so hot, and I took like a really long time. I think 6 hours or something. We finished 100K. I was like, this is it. I cannot do anything like this anymore. But yeah, it was okay. That was like a sense of
achievement. Yeah.
But I don't think I want to do this anymore. And so we used to just do our majja rides and all. And after that, I met these folks who were doing like 200 and regularly 200, 300. And I was like, what is this? Then slowly that Kida was like planted in my head. So I always have that thing for doing.
Challenging yourself.
challenging, something to look forward to, exciting. I was doing some challenge with a couple of other friends that we have to do like 700, 800 kilometers in a month. And then I did, I think, 125 kilometers one day.
Mm.
And my husband and son were following me in the car on Kanakpura Road. They were following me for the entire distance. It was my son was so bored. But they followed me and they were like, he was like, Mom, why are you not riding fast? I want to go home. Then I thought, okay, maybe I should start riding on my own and stop torturing my family like this. And I was going with my friends and all. So I think the next day I went on my own.
Mm.
I had a lot of anxiety. I was, stressed. How will I manage if something goes wrong and this and that and all that? But it was all right. So I started taking my
How
bike.
many years back is this?
2018.
2018. Okay. I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I want to know from where to where you have come. How long has it taken? Is why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I started riding short distance on my own. And that whole thing of, going out alone, being a woman, it's, I don't know what it is. There's something that unlocks in your head when you do something so challenging on your own, And then I was like, this is so cool. And, it's kind of liberating, when you're able to do that.
Really cool.
It's in your head, like, going alone. You're nervous about stuff and people and all that. And then you start liking it. Then that Kida was set because I know those people. I knew those people, right? So I could go longer. So I had done 125. And then I thought I should sign up for a 200K. So this whole sport of ultra distance that I am into, it's called randonneering.
Okay.
Randonneering is the word itself in French, it means hiking. But the way it became a cycling sport is that in, I think, about 100 plus years back, I don't remember exactly when, but that's when they started this. There was long distance cycling in Italy and then in France. And they started doing like distances 200, 300, 400, and 600 kilometers.
A day-long event, or how does it work? This
randonneering? Yeah, it's continuous.
Okay.
Yeah, randonneering is, so they have like time limits, certain hours that you have to finish a 200K.
Okay.
And different hours for different kilometer distances. So you become a randonneer when you complete at least a 200 kilometer event.
Okay.
Audax. So this is called Audax.
Okay.
So it's called Audax Club Parisien. That was the base club, the first club that was created. And there's this famous event, Paris-Brest Paris, which is a 1200 kilometer event. So that is from Paris to Brest, which is one of the coastal areas in France. It's a 600 kilometer distance and you come back.
Wow.
And that event spinned off and the race component became Tour de France. And the hiking or, general public event became this randonneering Audax event. So
everything is France is supposed to be like one of the Mecca, Medina for cyclists, right?
Yeah.
True. My God.
Yeah. So Audax India is affiliated to Audax Club Parisien. And so they have like clubs all over the world. You have Audax in Southeast Asia, Thailand, you have US, you have all of the Scandinavian countries, Italy. In, I think, our region, SAARC area is only India.
Okay.
But yeah, you have big community in Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and all that. Yeah, so it's there across the world. Name it, like every small place you will have an Audax community. In India itself, we have like over 80, 90 clubs.
Within this Audax club. So for example, like Bangalore Audax, that's a club, or how does?
Yeah, so Bangalore Randonneers rolls up into Audax India. And Audax India rolls up to Audax Club Parisien.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's how it works. So within Audax India, we have like around, I think, maybe 80 to 90 now.
Okay. So if you win an event or whatever, win/complete an event under the Bangalore Randonneers, for example, then automatically are you a part of the Audax India and Audax Parisien community?
Yes,
you are.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay. Tell me more.
So it's a world community. And So when you finish a single event, a 200-kilometer distance,
Mm.
that time to complete is 13 and a half hours.
Okay.
Within 13 and a half hours, you complete, you are a finisher.
Okay.
So Audax is like not a competitive event. So you do not have like winners, first two, three, and all that. But human nature, we all want to. We cannot stop competing. So there
Mm.
will be competition. There
Okay.
will be that,
Mm.
but you cannot stop that.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's why they do not call anybody a winner. It's like a more of a friendly community-based event. So that is kind of quite interesting with
It's
this,
nice.
because
So you're a finisher
yeah.
kind of a thing rather than.
So you might
Mm.
you might have finished in 7 hours.
Mm.
Somebody else would have finished in 13 hours, 29 minutes. But you are the same. Both of you are the same. You're a finisher. Both of you are equal.
So
Both
it's a
of you are
healthy
equal.
community, rather, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's not super competitive and all that.
Mm.
But yeah, people do look up to people who can do things
Naturally,
faster.
you'll have
Yeah.
a goal or something like that. No,
Mhm.
that's healthy
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that is like the background
Okay.
about Kodak.
Mm.
So you finish 200, you become a randonneur. 300 is in 20 hours, 400 is in 27 hours, and 600 is in 40 hours. This is the time limit.
So, for
given to it.
example, if it's this 13 hours thing, is 13 continuous hours or what? How is the timing?
You can do anything in that 13 hours. Basically, the way it works is within that route, you will have control points
Okay.
or checkpoints.
Mm.
So maybe like in a 200-kilometer ride, you'll have after 45 kilometers the first checkpoint, then maybe 100 kilometers second checkpoint, 150 the third checkpoint.
Okay.
So each checkpoint you're supposed to reach within a time period.
Oh, okay.
It opens and closes within a time period.
Acha, okay.
Yeah, there'll be a cutoff time.
Got it.
So, and overall, you have to finish within 13 and a half hours.
Okay.
Now, if you're able to reach the cutoff points in good time, then you do whatever you want. You sleep for 1 hour in the middle, you go to a restaurant, you swim, whatever you want.
Okay. That depends on your pace and your speed and all of it.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Then, so once you finish a 200, 300, 400, and a 600, all four of them, you become something called a super randonneur.
Oh, super.
Yeah, SR is like very prestigious because not many people are able to do this 1500 kilometers distance. I mean, it will typically not be like at the same time, but spread across maybe in a month, or you can do it in a calendar year or that's year.
Okay.
You have 1 year to complete that SR.
4 different events: 200, 300, 400, 600. So there are 4 different events that you have to do in a Audax calendar year for becoming a super randonneur. Wow.
Super randonneur. Yeah.
Grinny man. Okay.
So so circling back to my first event.
Yes.
So I had signed up for a 200. So, and when I signed up, I didn't know that that was the toughest 200 in India. But for me, the way it worked was like I had these family commitments and all that, and that was the only 200 that I could sign up to. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever happens, I'll go and ride and see what comes. Anyway, I had nothing to lose. So I went. That previous day, my bike was somehow not working properly. I borrowed my friend's bike, and then it was really, really tough.
Which route was this?
This is a route called Anchetti. Anchetti is a place in Tamil Nadu. So this one goes from the south of Bangalore, Kanakpura Road, and gets into Thalli, Anchetti, and then routes back to the middle of the city. It was super tough for me, and I was on this heavy, big bike of my friend, and so I was not able to finish it in 13 and a half hours. I took another 1.5 hours. Never realized that traffic in Bangalore is so crazy. When you return back into Bangalore, by 13 hours, I had reached Bangalore, but it took me 1.5 hours in traffic to reach the finish point. So, it was quite hard, hot. It rained, and I could not make the checkpoints in time. So I did not have food. I was eating things from the shops, what I was buying. And bun and biscuit and all that, and I was somehow managed to finish. And before the ride, everybody had discouraged me,
Hmm.
told me, don't go for this ride. You will not be able to
Oh.
do this. It's really tough and all that. But I had no choice. It
Hmm.
was not like I chose to pick that ride, but
Hmm.
that was available and that was the thing. And I was like, okay, let's see if it's possible or not.
Hmm.
So the next season started after
Okay.
that. Back then, Odax season was from November 1st to October 31st next year.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Hmm.
so they had this continuous SR, all the distances one after the other. So you can finish an SR in 5
Oh
days.
my God.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. And did you
So
sign up for it?
no,
Oh my
I
God,
did not.
I was
I
like,
didn't sign up then, but
I
I
was
did
going to
later.
say that. I mean, knowing you, you might have signed up. There you did. There you did.
Yeah. So and there was I was supposed to, my son was doing a footballing event
Hmm.
at that time,
Hmm.
and we were supposed to travel. So the first event was 600 kilometer, and the day that the 600 kilometer gets over, I was supposed to take a flight, and we, as a family, we were supposed to travel, and the shorter distances were happening after the 600.
Okay.
So I had no choice again. So I had to take up 600, go and finish a 200 late, and then sign up for a 600. So
Somehow I'm not surprised. Okay, Greeny, somehow I'm not surprised.
so,
It's like you're running your 42-kilometer marathon story.
yeah, same thing. So like yeah, so this is the story of my life basically. So I went for the 600, and it was quite comfortable, and a lot of people we were all riding together, and this is overnight, right? 40 hours you have. First 300 was like Majja. I was riding with a lot of people, and by the time it became night, there were 2 3 guys. One guy was like singing, and it was so much fun, and this thing, I was like, wow, this is so
Wow.
cool. I was not sleepy. I was like fully engaged and full enthusiastic, and
Oh, lovely,
riding.
lovely.
Yeah, and the bunch was nice. Then we reached the return point, and now some of them wanted to sleep, and they were all feeling tired. I was still so excited. I'm like running on adrenaline now. Okay, and I was like, I have to continue. I'm not feeling sleepy, but I was waiting for people because at that time I was not sure if I should be riding alone or. And every place I was waiting like 2 hours. Slowly, one by one, people started feeling tired.
Tired and taking a break.
Yeah. So, and I was like, okay, finally, there was one guy who was moving, but he was sleepy. And so I would stop at different places, coffee day, and we'll drink some coffee there. And I'm like, just staring at the ceiling because I'm not feeling sleepy. It's 2 a.m. and I'm like, I want to ride now. I want to ride now. I want to ride now.
Just enthusiasm, energy, adrenaline. My God.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't believe how much fun I was having. Okay. And I was like, I want to go out and ride. And night, it was like complete disbelief, I didn't realize that night riding is so much fun. Okay. It's like I was having a blast and everybody is feeling sleepy. So I'm like, okay, I can't ride alone. So waited, and then we started riding again. And when we reached 400, I was like, oh my God, I finished 400. I have never done this kind of distance in my life before. And it was all the control points, everything was within time.
All perfect, very nice.
Yeah. And I'm feeling like very strong. I'm feeling
top of the world.
Yeah, I'm feeling energetic. I'm not feeling tired, and I am like raring to get back to this thing control. And I was riding with this person, and he was taking breaks. So last 200 also was like pretty much okay, but I think around 70 kilometers left, and it started pouring. Crazy rain, and we had a few hours to get back into the city, and its vision is also not very clear. It's like foggy, raining. It's November, and it's cold. And this guy, by the time we, I think last 30 kilometers, Nelamangala area, it's 28 kilometers to Bangalore. He was like, enough, no, let's just go home from here. I'm like, no way.
Heartbreak, no way. I have done so much well.
Yeah, I'm like 570 kilometers we've done and you want to go home. No chance. He's like, I'm very sleepy. I'm going to fall off the bike. I said, I'm going to the end control. And you just follow my bike. Just look at the light. Okay, I'm going in front and I'm like loudly calling out his name. He drank some coffee in that coffee day and all that. And then I kept calling his name and he was like, yes, yes. So, and then we somehow reached the end control. I think we had about last 25 minutes or so.
Good job. Good job. Wow. So your first ever Randonneur event is Seedha, the maximum one.
Yeah, the first one was like 600.
Mhm.
And I was like, what just happened? It's like something like crazy in my head. It just unlocked
No,
something.
it is.
Right.
It is. It is really a big deal.
Yeah. And I was like, it's possible to do something so crazy. And I was struggling with the 200. But that 200 was the toughest 200.
Which route was the 600 one?
This one goes all the way to Davangere, Ranebennur, beyond Davangere, and returns back on the highway. So it was complete highway route. But in Bangalore, there is no easy route because it's all like a rolling.
Exactly.
terrain.
Yeah, exactly. My dad used to say, like, how there are countries that are, they say, no, this is built on 7 hills and 10 hills. Bangalore is built like a 30 hills or something. You have to go up and down and up and down and up and down like that.
Yeah. So, and when you enter, because we're on a plateau, when you enter back into Bangalore, you're always climbing. It's always a climb. Whatever.
That's the last stretch where you'll be the most tired.
Most tiring. You're like you're fighting so many things: sleep deprivation, fatigue, and you have to climb. So it's like multiple challenges that are thrown in. So yeah, and when that happened, I was like, okay, then this thing is possible. Now maybe I should aim for a SR. So then I finished that 600 and I was looking at all these people doing this 5-day SR. They were, after the 600, they were doing a 400. They took like a 2-3 hour break and they continue to do 400. They did a 300 and then they did 200. I was like, wow, these guys are superhuman. And I was like, okay, I should at least try to do this whole thing in a month. If they are doing it continuously, maybe I can do it in a month. So then finished that event of my son's football event, and then we came back. And next week, I went to the funny thing was, like, I used to drive like very I mean less, only like city driving. I'm not used to driving the highway and all that. The first time I went out on my own alone was to do a cycling event.
On a cycling.
I drove to other cities so that I could cycle there.
Some kind of motivation people need. For you, it's a cycling thing that pushed you out.
Yeah. So, and I was like, I can do this on my own. I can drive also. That also kind of unlocked stuff for me. And I think next event was a 200, and it was not there in Bangalore.
Okay.
So I was like looking at all the other Rodex clubs in South India where I can drive to nearby to go and finish these distances. So the next week I went and did a 200K in Madurai. I drove to Madurai, I did the 200 and came back. Week after that, 300, I went to Chennai and finished that and drove back home. And the fourth week, I went to Hyderabad, finished my 400. And
you finished it. Wow.
Finished 1 month, I finished my first SR. I didn't stop at that. The next month, I finished my second SR. And then it was like complete kida because it was winter, right? And I was like I really enjoyed that part. It was super fun and really tough. It was very tough. But it's that thing when you do these tough things, it sort of makes you feel like so powerful, and like anything is possible. So it sort of makes you just hungry for more.
So back to back, you finished double SR back to back kinds.
Double SR, yeah. Then I heard about, when I was doing the second one, I think I heard about Paris-Brest Paris, which is the 1200 kilometers. So I had finished these two events, and then I was like, I should sign up for something more. And I heard about PBP, and I wanted to do the 1200K. And
that's your first international event.
First international event. That was in 2019.
2019.
Okay. Like all the foolish things that I take up, I went and signed up for it, not really knowing what I'm getting into. So again, there the first time around when I went, it was completely different. And
Hmm.
I know I had, most people would do like a 1200 before in their own country, train for it and all that. I did not have that time to train for it, so I did a lot of other shorter distances and try to figure out how to tackle a 4 day event. So 1200 kilometers, you have 90 hours.
Okay.
So these events less than 1200, it's called BRM,
Hmm.
and longer than 1200, it's called LRM.
Okay. And what does L and R and M stand for?
Brevi is a shorter one,
Okay.
and Les Randonneurs Mondial
Okay.
is LRM. Brevet Randonneurs Mondial is the BRM.
Okay. Okay.
So, and I think LRM was mostly run by the Americans.
Oh,
So, yeah.
so this PPP
So,
is LRM, is an LRM thing.
the only exception being PBP. That's the only 1200 that is run by ACP.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I went for it without knowing what I was getting
Signing
into.
up for. Hmm.
Yeah, but it was an amazing experience. It was really, really, really challenging because terrain is different. It's very cold in the night. I think it was raining also in the night. Although it is August in France, the nighttime can come down to 5 degrees and all
Oh,
that. Yeah, and daytime was pretty hot, and then as you get to the coast, it's pretty hot. But for me, what happened was I reached Brest and I was returning, and nobody has this kind of a mechanical issue. What happened was my bike broke. My bike, the pedal is on something called the crank,
okay.
right? The crank is what holds together
The two sides of the pedal. Hmm.
those two sides of the pedal, and the entire bike basically is dependent on the crank. That's like the main thing in the
Okay.
bike. So my crank broke into two pieces, and I had no clue because I was sort of still new to cycling at that time. I didn't know what it was also. And when it broke, I was at close to 800 kilometers.
And you were making good time.
I was little borderline. And when it broke, I was like, this is over now. So, and I tried a lot to borrow bike from people who were doing DNF. DNF is like, they were not able to continue their ride, did not finish.
Okay,
People, those kind of people. Tried a lot, but I was not getting another bike. And they were really helpful. The French organizers, they took me to some bike shops. Everything was closed on weekends. I think nothing opens up in France.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
So they took me to a bike shop to get it fixed, and a lot of things they tried, but I just could not fix it.
Because you can't even ride like half a kilometer if that breaks, right?
You can't pedal. I mean, it's broken. It's just hanging like that.
So then you have to get off and almost like hold your cycle and walk.
Yeah, I was climbing and suddenly I just fell off to the side. And I thought maybe I just fell. And then when I looked down, the crank had broken. So it was a problem that I found out later, that the issue was like the guy who serviced my bike had put a cable, the brake cable, on the crank, and that kept rubbing against the crank. And that's like a steel cable. So that shaved the crank.
Ouch.
It shaved the entire thing off and split it into two.
Wow.
So that was a very weird thing to happen. But yeah, anyway, so that was my first experience.
So you couldn't complete the first one. Oh.
First 1200. So
do you have a heartbreak when something like that happens? Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because you're 800, you just have 400 left almost, right?
Yeah. And again, like nighttime, I love riding, and it was like, I was just looking forward to, even if I was late, I was okay to finish it. Even if it was not on time, I just wanted to see if I can. It's always like, am I capable of this distance? Can my body do this? Can my mind do this? Because ultra distance is not it's not a race against other people. It's more a race against yourself, and to know where your limits are. It's like a internal exploration. You're trying to figure out where your limits are. Can I do this distance? What are the challenges that come up when I try to do this kind of a distance? Can I break through those things? Can I do it? So it's like
1200 is massive.
Yeah, and so it was very disappointing that I couldn't finish that. So, and I came back and I kept on riding. That was in 2019 August, and came back here, and I was riding with a vengeance. And back then I used to get so sunburnt, right? I used to have like feeling, I could feel the burn on my face, on my
But
hands and legs
a
and all that.
sunburn is very painful, huh?
It's,
Whether
yeah.
it's painful.
So at times, like, sunscreen also doesn't work when
Correct.
you're doing like ultra
Mm.
distance, right? Because after every 2-3 hours you can't keep reapplying, you
Correct.
get like so bored,
Mm.
and I would forget to do it, and then I'll come back home and the skin will start peeling,
Yeah.
and I'll be having all these Nagin. I used to call myself Nagin. I used to, I used to be like shedding
Shedding
skin
skin.
all over. Yeah,
Snake,
skin.
my God.
I used to have this Nagin skin back then. Oh my God. And I was riding with vengeance, like that post that event, and then
Wow.
came back. And then I came to know that there was in Thailand, there is this LRM,
Okay.
2000 kilometers. So I can't finish. I couldn't finish at 1200. I went and signed up for 2000.
But you couldn't finish it at 800, not because of yourself. It's mechanical issues. Otherwise, you were there.
Yeah.
Of course,
So
you will always sign up for one that is like double of what the earlier that you've done. Oh, that's greedy. That's you.
that is what came up, like, and everybody was like, okay, we are going for this. I'm like, okay, fine, I will also try. So I went for
But
that.
Thailand is a very different climate.
I got roasted over there.
Yeah,
I
man.
got
From Paris, you're saying
completely,
cold. Then you're saying Bangalore, again, very nice. From there,
yeah.
Thailand, hot,
We are
humid.
Bangaloreans, right?
Yeah.
We are like so pampered.
Delicate darling.
When you're in Bangalore and you ride in
Yeah.
Bangalore, like, you're so comfortable. And when you go out, you realize, oh my God, this is like, it's an oven. And 2020 was so hot. I was, remember these in Thailand, like many of the houses, they have this garden hose lying there. I used to go take that hose and put the tap on and pour that over my head and just sit there, like, like for 5 minutes, pour that on my head
Just
and
to
try
cool
to sleep.
yourself down.
Yeah,
Whee!
completely drench myself in water. I could ride only after doing that. I used to go house to house, like
Wow.
completely
Oh
drenching
my
myself.
God. No, so I think you wrote a blog after your the Thai.
Second time, yeah.
You did, right?
Finally, I wrote, yeah.
A fantastic blog, by the way. Okay, I really enjoyed because it's got the whole thrill as well. So you have managed to keep that whole what you did every day, things that went through your head.
Yeah,
Can I do? Can't I do? What is happening? Where I'm stopping? All those kind of things. And
yeah,
this is one thing you had mentioned, how you stopped at places and just took water and poured on top of your head. Quite
yeah.
insane.
Quite insane.
So how did you do the Thailand one then?
Yeah, so
The
in
2020 thing.
2020, it was like that event is called Isan. Isan
Okay.
is a region in the northern parts of Thailand, and it's renowned for monks who do long distance walking. It's a part of their culture. They go and do this bhikshu, this thing, right? They go and
The
in the,
bhiksha or the begging, living by the alms that they do.
yeah, which you do not see in India, although I think that originated in India, and you see that, and you have monks who are like walking for days together and all that, and so it's part of their culture. And for them, if you as a cyclist doing long distance is not something new, so it's quite there. And Thailand is so amazing for cycling, and Thai people are also like so good. I mean, it's my favorite place. It's my favorite place for cycling.
Oh, really? So I was going to ask at one point, which if you have to choose, which is your favoriteest destination or location?
Favoriteest.
Thailand, is it?
Yeah,
Or this region of Thailand?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Isan. But generally, Thailand itself, I think, is more because of the people, because they're like very kind, very helpful, and you see smiles. Nowhere in the world, I think, you will find so much kindness.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me some stories of people that you met while cycling.
Yeah. So there was this another Thai rider, a woman. She was also riding along with us. I met her, and she was like really sweet. She was telling me about the things in their culture. And at one point, we were passing through a temple festival, and we had to stop for food. We went in. She showed us their cuisine. During the event, we went and picked up fish, and they made it for us. and like nice hearty meal, and she was explaining
Wow.
things and so and she was like really sweet and helped us out to
Nice. It's almost
ride.
like a temple prasadam that you had in the middle of your
Middle of the
something
ride.
like that, like a festive, that kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right?
so that
Oh.
was there. Then
Hmm.
we came out of that place, and then there were like different stalls. It was huge, okay, and
Hmm.
there was one stall selling worms, and I am very adventurous. I eat
Hmm.
everything that moves and crawls. So, so
Proteins.
so and she was like being Thai herself. She's never
Hmm.
eaten that. I was like, no, I want to try this.
Hmm.
So that was the first time I tried. I think it was a silkworm or one of those
Okay.
nice thick fried worm. It was nice. It was nice. I
That's
tried
nice. Nice
one.
crunch you get while having
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, good. I like it. No, eating local food is also a big part
Oh
of
my God, Thai
experiencing.
food is so amazing. It's like crazy. And the street food in Thai and at these temple festivals is like mind blowing. The kind
Oh,
of
really?
variety that you have. Oh my God, it's like brilliant.
And while this cycling events of yours, do you get a chance to stop and buy and eat and all that?
Yeah,
Do you do
yeah.
that?
You have to do that because you for hundreds of kilometers you cannot expect to wait for the CP and eat only at the
Hmm.
CP, right? You have to eat what you get on the go. And Thai has these 7-Elevens
Okay.
all across the country. So you
Oh.
can go to a 7-Eleven or buy some stuff and the noodles and you can heat it up over there and have
Oh,
it.
that's very convenient.
Yeah, so they have these nice
Then do you have any yes, yes and no, no's that during ride I will not eat this or I will not drink this or I will, you have anything like that? At least in your head, not like
uh,
a rule or something, but in your head?
you know me, right? I used to be this low carb proponent
Yes,
and
yes.
exponent, and that's how
Hmm.
we met up also.
Correct.
So I went from being like not at all eating, I mean, having so many like things no in my food list to being able to eat anything and everything that is available on the go. So I think that being open to different foods also like opens your mind to cultures and people and,
Definitely,
and
yeah.
palate
It's
itself.
a part of the overall experience,
Yeah,
definitely. So when
yeah.
I'm asking you about this ride, your second story was eating the worms. That experience was so high up in your
Yeah, it was like I've
overall
never
things.
done this,
Definitely.
and and you have to be open to that also, right? In certain cultures,
I
they have
agree.
that, and you have to try it out. I mean, I like to
Hmm.
try it out. Like
Yeah.
it's
Why
different.
not? Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then how else? How was the ride? How was it? Must have been hot.
yeah,
What
yeah. So
what did you
that
do?
that was like so I what I used to try and do is like avoid the peak heat, the noon part, maybe like 11:30 to 2:30 or 3. I used to go and try to hole up in some place and have food and just put my head down and try to sleep or rest or something, and then pick up once the sun goes slightly lower and ride through the night. So night riding is my what do you call is my strength.
Hmm.
A lot of people struggle to ride in the night. Most times, I cannot say at all times, but most times I don't have that much of a struggle. Night, it's very peaceful, and I don't have to struggle with the sun and the
Yeah,
heat.
yeah.
So
And traffic will be lesser also. So
yeah,
depends on the road, how well lit it is and all of that.
yeah.
Hmm.
Your lights have to be good. So I remember this talking about Thai people, right?
Hmm.
They're like very kind. So in some remote areas, there are no 7-Elevens, no places and all. There's no place for water also, right? So I would stop at somebody's house. I would ask for water. They'll be like, okay, you can. And in Thailand, the houses, like rural houses and all, they have like the kitchen as the first room of the house, and they
Oh,
have this huge ice box which is kept in the front of the house, like the freezer,
okay.
huge freezer will be kept. Everybody
Hmm.
has that, and then we could go and help ourselves with ice. We'll go and fill our bottles with ice.
How sweet.
Yeah, and many places bathroom also they would allow us to use.
That's
So
really kind, man.
yeah,
Wow. It's
so
almost like welcoming you into the house.
yeah, very sweet people. Although we don't understand each other's language, but
Correct.
they were like very welcoming like that. Yeah. In the second time, when was it, 2024 when I went, the very first day, within the first 100, it was super hot. And I was so exhausted. I thought I was going to black out or something. I went and stopped in front of a shop, and the shop is like attached to the house itself. And I saw one, what do you call this?
Charpoy kind of a bed.
Exactly, that bed. And I just lied down on that. I didn't know what was happening. First, the woman came out and she was asking me, like, are you okay? And she got me water, ice, some cloth, wet wipes, and everything.
Oh,
Then
sweet.
and I was like, I'm feeling very tired. I drank all the water, and then husband came out after some time, and they tried to put something on the bed and all for me. And they were like so sweet, you know. I mean, like totally didn't expect. Then I bought some stuff from the shop and to eat and all, and he didn't want to take any money for it. In India, it happens all the time with me when I ride.
Yeah.
You know, they're like the small shops also. I tell them, if I tell them I'm riding, they'll be like, no, don't pay me. I'm like, these people need it much more than me.
Correct,
But,
correct.
they're so kind, you know. They're like so nice. So in Thailand also people are like that. So
wow, that's so nice. It gives you such joy to have such an
yeah,
experience, man. It's really
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Wow. Do you always, so when you are riding a stretch, do you always have someone or the other in a like eye distance kind of a thing, or it doesn't really happen? Most of the time it's alone.
Yeah, it's most of the time alone because these events are so spread out, right?
Correct.
You don't know, somebody might be 50 kilometers ahead of you, or even if they're 2 kilometers ahead of you or behind you, you don't really
You don't know about it.
know. So, and it's very difficult when you do a long distance to ride together with somebody. You
Okay.
will have personality clashes. You will end up fighting. That's like a given. And also your matching of your timing, right?
Syncing up is
Yeah, when you feel sleepy, the other person may not be sleepy. So
just like how you were staring at your friend in
yeah,
coffee day, please wake up, I'm not sleepy, like that it'll
yeah.
happen.
And if you're especially like trying to, you know, make it in time at places,
Mm.
then you have to learn to be independent. And many people don't prefer to ride in the night. Many of them want to rest in the night. So most of the time I do it
So
alone.
in such a 4-day kind of an event, in total, how many hours of sleep do you get? Do you, in your style of cycling?
I get less sleep, but I'm training to include more sleep nowadays. So I try to get like 3 hours or so.
A day.
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours a day. The thing is, when you go to sleep, I like to like shower, change, and sleep. So that entire drama thingy it takes me like
Sleep
5-6 hours.
ritual.
Yeah, that whole thing takes me like 5 to 6 hours. So it wastes a lot of time. And learning to be comfortable in dirty clothes it is very beneficial.
Yeah, lucky for those people kinds.
Yeah, because it doesn't eat up so much time, right? You can sleep wherever you want. And when you travel to Europe, you can see people, ultra distance riders, in the same clothes for 10 days.
Wow.
And they will just wipe and they will keep on riding. That saves hell of a lot of time.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, and you have to learn to be uncomfortable. You have to, when you're doing uncomfortable things, it's like getting out of your comfort space, then this is also one of those
Yes, it is.
things.
You're right. Very right.
Yeah.
No judgment on people who are doing it. I think it's a big deal that they have learned to, manage to do it. It's also kind of almost like a skill.
It's a skill. It is a skill which I'm trying methodically to build up, but it's difficult.
It is difficult. Then you finished the 2020.
Yeah, I finished that well within time.
Wow.
And so I didn't finish a 1200 kilometer LRM, but I was able to finish that. 2001 was my first finish. So it's always like
walking, and then COVID came.
So that was like when I came back to Bangalore. Already when we were there in Thailand, people were already with the masks and all that, and we were like laughing, what is this? These people are all putting masks. Come to India, we don't use masks. And we were laughing. And then we came back, and within 2 weeks, the entire place shut down.
Yeah. Just in time.
Oh my God. I came back to India and I did another ride, 1200 kilometers.
Within like 2-3 weeks.
Yes. Within 2 weeks, I went to Goa and I did one ultra race.
Dude, you don't need recovery time after all this.
So that was pretty okay actually for me.
You are an ultra woman, man. You are superb.
you do need recovery time, but I thought I was okay, I think your body also gets
Yeah,
used to
it's
that
correct,
rhythm
correct,
and that
correct.
routine.
Mm.
And so I was able to recover and go for that race. It was a 1200-kilometer race.
Oh, this was a
Uh,
race now.
this was a race.
Oh.
That was my first race.
Mm.
And I mean, I had no clue how to race, but I just went and signed up. I finished it 2 hours late. And then the entire world shut down, COVID. So
Wow.
yeah,
So the
it
Goa was which? What a Goa to?
was Goa to Coorg
Oh, like
and
the
back.
Spice Trail or something that they call it, something
Ultra
that
Spice. It's called
Ultra
Ultra Spice.
Spice.
And that
Hey,
was
that is a
what
tough route. Going towards Coorg means fully inclined.
extremely tough. It's one of the toughest races in India. And
Wow. Again, you will only start with the toughest. You start with the worst and then get used to it.
yeah, start with the toughest and not do a late finish or the DNF, and then
And then everything
figure
else,
out.
oh, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy wala ho jata hai. But Thailand, I did it like that. Almost like that. It's crazy. Oh God.
Yeah.
And then how was COVID then for an ultra cyclist? How did you manage did you
God,
manage
it
to
was
do a
like,
lot of at least like general cycling a lot?
yeah. So I used to have this home trainer.
Hmm.
Just I had bought it few months before COVID, and maybe used it for like 2 rides before that.
Hmm.
And then I was like, I cannot ride indoors. Why are you mad? Like I cannot ride at all.
Hmm.
COVID came and I was like completely an indoor bunny, always like on the bike and doing like crazy amount of kilometers. So there are various apps that you can ride on. It's like a video game.
Hmm.
Okay, like Zwift is one of those,
Okay.
and it's good fun. You have like points, and then you get jersey. If you get this point, you get a new
Oh.
bike, and then I went into that route. Total type A, right? So you get something, you get to chase, and
Yeah.
then you go chasing.
Hmm.
So
Well, that's nice, but I mean, when it is, should any kind of obsession is not nice, but when the fitness is only one that is, it's okay. It's
yeah,
fine.
it kept me sane
Gets it
through
same.
COVID,
Mm.
and then COVID was like you ended up eating healthy because you were like cooking everything
At home.
yourself,
That's
you were
right.
doing everything at home, not ordering outside
Correct.
food
Yeah.
and eating out regularly. So everything fell magically into place, and I was riding like crazy. I did Everesting.
You did something called Everesting, right? Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, Everesting is when you finish this distance of 8,845 meters. That is
Height.
height of
Hmm.
Everest by cycling on hills. So when you do it outdoor, you can do like loops of a certain hill. Like if you do Nandi Hills, you have to do it for 22 loops to cover half Everesting,
Okay.
4,400. So then I
And
was
this is
like,
what on an incline? Like, do you have to put an incline function also
yeah,
in the?
yeah. So Zwift simulates the incline for you, makes it tougher for you to pedal when you are on incline and all that. So then I was like, okay, let's try this. So I did a half Everesting first, then I did a full Everesting on Zwift. Then there was another app called RGT. That was like on Mount Everest itself, you do Everesting. It was so crazy, super tough.
And you have a time limit for this?
No, everything can be done. You can take your time.
Okay.
But typically people do it in under 24 hours. Yeah.
Under 24 hours, you do 8,000-ish,
8,800.
9,000 almost, I'm saying.
Yeah.
And how do you take breaks? You can take breaks in between. You can pause and all of that, is it?
No. In Everesting, you cannot take breaks. So you have to do it continuously. You have to absolutely do it continuously.
Oh my God, Grini, I've never heard of these things. Okay. Tell me.
So, except like in Zwift, when you climb up and you come down, no, it's like full downhill. So you can get off the bike, go run, and go to the bathroom. So you can do that in
Small
that time.
workarounds.
Yeah. So that kind of thing is there. But otherwise, in an event in Everesting, you're not supposed to sleep. You cannot take sleep breaks. You have to ride that continuously. So that was there, and I wanted to do an SR indoor. So
Okay.
I did a couple of I think 2 or 3 200s, some 2 to 300s, and a 400, and a 600 was pending.
Okay.
But so that was mission not accomplished.
Wow, you set
Yeah.
up tough challenges for yourself, man. Okay. Let's take a quick little break here, Grini. And when we get back, we'll talk more about your other events and the preparations that you do behind it and all of it. A commercial break? Not really. This is a request to you to check out our Labor of Love, a newsletter on Substack called Sneaky Footprint. It's from our team at Misadventures of a Sneaker. We write about travels, vacation, travel tips, anecdotes, lots of pictures, and suggested itineraries as well. Do check it out, misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. And we have now started a new service of curating travel itineraries to destinations made just for you. So if you want to get a vacation planned, leave us a note on Instagram or DM us on our Substack page, and we will plan something super special for you. Please support us by following and subscribing to our newsletter and Instagram page, Misadventures of a Sneaker. All the links are in the show notes. Thank you. All right. Welcome back from the break. So, Grini, what happened to this PBP event of yours? It was like a dream, an aspiration for you to finish the Brest Paris event, right?
Yeah. So then in 2023 was the next edition of PBP. So this time I was much more prepared, and I knew what I was getting into. I had one 1200K successful finish and couple of DNFs before that.
Which was the 1200 before that you finished?
I finished one in Chennai.
Okay.
Got roasted in the heat.
Exactly. My eyes like went huge when you said Chennai finishing at 1200. That's like, wow.
Yeah, it was tough, but managed, because the Bangalore ones which I had taken up were the toughest in India, and I could not finish
because
those.
The inclines and all.
Yeah, okay. The lot of elevation and all that. Then I went for PBP, much more prepared and organized, and planned my sleep well, which is very critical. You can, if you sleep for a few hours, you can maintain a certain speed, so that I was able to do this time. And so successfully finished that as the first Indian woman to ever finish it. Yeah.
That is such a proud thing, man. That is really, really amazing. Wow, Grini. It sent me one, I got one feel. It's very nice. It's one achievement like that. No, that's what you were saying, breaking shackles in your head, in the society, for you to, in this case, in the world. It's a big deal.
Yeah. So ultra distance is more like, first you have to break it down in your head. Even a ride like this, long distance, requires a lot of planning. So you have to break down the whole ride in your head, and then with your legs. Only then it will work. You have to train for it. You have to work towards it, with a concrete plan.
Tell me, for example, now suppose I want to get into ultra cycling and all that. How do I mentally prepare for it? Or how do you do it before you go on one of these larger events?
So in my mind, I keep telling myself it's possible. I think the default mindset for me is like, it's too hard, it's very tough. But so I have to consciously talk myself into things and talk myself out of that negative mindset also, so it is challenging. I have to keep re-emphasizing that, and every now and then I have to tell myself that I am good enough.
You've done so many of these events, yet this fear, why so?
So it's just that it's always a challenge. It's not an easy thing to do day after day. If you keep going, like every time you go out, you have to be like mentally really prepared for it. So it's good to have a certain goal, like you prepare towards that goal and you go with that goal. So if you feel that the distance has got lesser elevation, maybe you can do it in certain time.
Okay.
So you aim for that and prepare for that, so yeah, so you always are a little nervous. That nervousness will always
be there.
Yeah, but it's also, I think it's good to have that. It keeps you down to earth and grounded.
It also, when you finish it, it makes you feel that good. It's not like, I finished that. This is obviously, I'll finish it kinds. That's not there. Every time you finish one thing that you felt was a little challenging before, you'll always feel like, yes, I did it kinds. The joy of finishing is great.
Yeah. So, and anything can go wrong in these kind of rides. It's not just your physical preparation or your mental preparation. There can be like your bike. You have to be a mechanic. You have to know your bike.
In and
It's
out.
not rocket
Hmm.
science, but you need to know how to fix things on your bike. Very basic things like a puncture, changing a tube, if there are small mechanical issues with your brake, with your shifters, every small thing, you need to know those things, and initially when I used to ride, when I started out with my friends, the 20-kilometer rides, I did not know how to pump air into the bike. But these are things over a period of time you have to learn to do it
Yeah.
yourself. If you're having a mechanical in the middle of the night when you're all alone, you have to fix
That's
it
right.
yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be self-sufficient. And being that self-sufficient makes you feel like so badass. It's it's like, yeah, you will struggle, you will suffer, but then you know that you're not so dependent on somebody. I don't need somebody to do these things. And like nowadays, like YouTube is available. So initially when I used to have these mechanical issues and problems, I used to like quickly log in and Google and figure out how to fix it on the fly. Middle of the ride, I used to like try and fix my things. It's like
Nice.
little complex problems.
Yeah.
But small things, no, like changing the tube and this thing, anyone can do. What I'm saying is like, it's just the mindset that, okay, it's hard or this thing. It's not. It's just a matter of practice and thinking.
So what is your packing gear like? Suppose now you're going tomorrow for Paracycle
Yeah.
event. How do you
Yeah.
pack? What do you pack?
Very good question. So, as a ultra distance cyclist, most important thing that you need to have with you is your fixing tools. That I have a designated area for different things on my bike.
Okay.
So my bike frame, there is a real estate on my bike frame. And very precious real estate because it's so small and so little, right?
And you can't
So
make your bike heavy, so you can't take the entire world in your bike.
yeah, you can't. But I initially, when I started riding, I used to take my kitchen sink. So I have to I had to unlearn those ways of traveling, and traveling light on your bike is really, really important because you cannot lug your weight along with entire thing up a mountain. It's not possible to do that. So the way I distribute things is like, I have my electronics, I have my bike related stuff, I have some change of clothes, I have some emergency food, hydration salts. So these are the things that I carry on the bike. Front of the bike will have the food in my food pouches. And then I have the lights which are on the handlebar, the lights and backup lights, chargers for the lights, power banks. Then I like music, so sometimes I carry this nice speaker also.
You listen to music while you're riding. That's nice.
Yes, I feel like I'm dancing while I'm riding. No,
good.
All my dance steps are going on in my head.
Bollywood or Taylor Swift, or what is your style?
Everything. I love to dance to anything. But yeah, and sometimes when I go to a country, I try to learn a little bit about their culture. So I have for France, I have like a French playlist. So different this thing also. Like I try
mixing it out.
Yeah, mixing it up and trying to.
I like that you put a speaker instead of having something on your ears while sweating and all of it.
Yeah, ears is not safe when you're riding.
That's true.
You want to listen to outside.
Good point.
Yeah, and speaker also, like, it's good because when you're going alone in the middle of the night through the forest and all that, animals hear that and they'll not come near you. I feel like that. I don't know how to.
Suppose they want to come to party along with you, then they come to party along with you.
Let's dance.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, so I feel like it keeps away wild animals.
So charger, speaker, and all of that. That's another.
So it needs to be waterproofed in the frame bag, the top tube. I keep it on the top tube. Then the triangle of the cycle, that's called the frame area, right? So you can either have water bottles over there or you can put a frame bag. So I have a small frame bag to put some extra, my raincoat and some extra shorts and stuff like that. Then The saddle bag behind the saddle is another good space. You can
Hmm.
have different sizes of saddlebags. So depending on the length of the event,
Hmm.
I'll carry like a small saddlebag or a bigger saddlebag. So for a longer one, like 1,000 plus and all that, I'll carry more stuff there. So all my cycling tools, which consists of change of tubes, I'll have some 2 to 3 extra tubes,
Okay.
chain lube, then the tool to remove the tire,
Hmm.
then the bike chain. I mean, if it breaks, what do? You have a chain link, then a tool to remove the chain. So those kind of
Wow.
all of
Nice.
those things.
Hmm.
Yeah, so all of those things in the saddlebag. That's my toolkit. Then maybe some extra clothes, wet wipes, and soap, sanitizer, alcohol, sanitizer, and stuff like that.
Wow. So, for example, now you're leaving from Bangalore, you're going to say Thailand or Paris or whichever international event. Now you have your flight clothes, then you have the clothes over there that you wear, whatever, one change, two change. Do you have to carry everything with you all the time? Or does the event take care of dropping it back to the last point or things like that?
No. So the event will not take care of your regular
Hmm.
clothes and stuff. Event you can take only a bike,
Okay.
and certain events have like drop bags. Like Paris doesn't have drop bag, but London, Edinburgh, it has a drop bag option. So you can select where you want to, put some extra clothes in a
Oh,
bag, and that bag will be available to
oh,
you.
that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Indian events, most of the time for longer events, longer than 600, 1,000 plus, we typically have two drop bags.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
good. And usually start and end are the same points? Hmm.
Usually it's like that.
Okay.
But yeah, in some cases it can start and end at different places also.
Wow. So in one such ride, suppose, for example, you've had multiple times to change the tube or something, and you've run out of
Mhm.
it. Is it fairly available that, on the following day you can go, you'll have a nice bike shop where you can go and get the whole thing at the replenished?
Yeah, so these large events like PBP and all, in their control points, checkpoints, you will have that for
Okay,
sale.
okay.
Sometimes you might even have, if it's a larger city and all, you might even have mechanics who
Hmm.
can support you.
Hmm.
But like in India and all, it's not available easily. So it's better to carry more
In
tubes
India, it's not
for
available. I
longer.
was thinking on the other way around because cycling culture is such a big thing here. I mean, especially in smaller towns now, people still go use the cycles a lot.
Oh, those cycles are completely different, right?
Oh, so these cycles don't
Yeah.
have the tubes of these are very different from the regular
Yeah,
those kinds.
so it's not easily available. Yeah, if
Oh
you can ride
wow.
in a generic cycle, nothing like it, then everything is like available.
Ah, but that's tough. Tough to do such long distance in
Very tough.
a
Yeah.
yeah.
But there are
Well,
people, strong people who try to, once they're like just for the challenge of it, they'll go and ride on a regular bike, Hercules bike and all that.
wow. How do you choose your cycle? Suppose you have to buy a new one.
So initially, when I started riding, it was very tough to find women specific
I
bikes,
was going to say, I mean, and for a woman as well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so the main difference between a man and woman is the
Hmm.
size of our hands. We have like
Okay.
shorter torsos and hands are longer. So
Hmm.
to get something specific, the same geometry, it cannot be like what do you call pink it and it becomes a women's bike. So initially it used to be like that, make it
Hmm.
and pink it. So it doesn't work like that. It's our geometry is different. So you have to
Hmm.
have specific geometry. Shape of the frame is completely different. So you have to have things specific to women. You cannot just ride a man's bike. But yeah, if you
Yep.
can ride a man's bike, great.
Hmm. More options.
Yeah, and especially if you're taller, it's okay. You can manage with the same bike. But
Hmm.
shorter women, people who are like average Indian height, I'm like 5'2", it's not easy for us. Especially the road bike, which is like got those inverted handlebars, right? The road bikes are very different, the position and all that. So what happens is you end up stretching your hand like very much and bending a lot. You end up with like neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, head pain, all those things.
Oh,
So initially, I had a lot of those kind of issues to sort out with my first bike and all that. And then I got a women specific bike, which
okay.
is of a proper size. And typically in India, they try to sell you bigger bikes. because that's like generic. It's available for men, so they'll tell you to buy the same thing, and it's too big. Small size is too big for me. Extra small is also too big for me. So I needed a double extra small size bike, and so I was able to get that from one of the brands. So it's short, so
Okay.
it's correct for our height.
How did you figure this out? Trial and error?
Yeah, completely trial and error. There's no information at that time. There was no information available. So yeah, I had to go like through 3 bikes to finally get to where I am now.
Wow. And now with this bike, you have done the last several,
Yeah,
rides and
yeah,
whatever races, competitions, rides, finishing everything, all of it.
yeah.
What is the life of a bike usually? Like what the kinds that you have?
Yeah, you can maintain that for decades. I mean, if it's
Oh, that's very cool.
yeah.
Wow. So when you are like this in a say one full day, you are cycling, say 400 kilometers and you are alone, what do you do? Like what are the things that cross your mind? What do you observe around? Because it's like almost a solo trip, right?
Yeah. You have to learn to like spending time with yourself. It's a lot of things are going on in your head. So, and it's when you keep doing the same thing over and again, it becomes repetitive and meditative. So sometimes you enter a state. This has happened with me so many times. I get lost most of my rides. I'm riding in this state.
Then
yeah, I get into one mode, and then I'm on that road, and then I miss a turn, and then I'm like 5 kilometers ahead, and I'm like, shit, I have to get back. Sorry, I have to get back to that spot. So it's like you get it. I don't know how to explain this, but it happens to many people when you do this long distance. Get into that one amazing.
No, that happens with me when I drive as well. I enjoy driving, and I'll be singing and I'll be driving.
Yeah.
Somewhere I'm like, oh la, I missed this. Hey Bhagwan, and I have to take one big U-turn.
Yeah, totally.
So it's just like you get lost in that entire rhythm kinds.
Yeah. So most of the time I have my music with me. If I get bored, like with myself, I put on that music and I'm like, imagine I'm dancing. And,
I think you'll be a very good side for the person behind you. You'll be like, I'm sure your head will be like rocking a little bit. You'll be jiggling a little bit when you're riding and all, especially with the music is on. Yeah.
Then nowadays I'm trying to do like much more organized stuff, so I try to stick to a plan. So I have this bike computer. I'm trying to stick to a certain wattage, and like so riding in my zone, so I try not to push too hard. So then the later part of the ride becomes harder. So then there will be people like trying to go fast ahead of you, and if you try to race with them, then you are like going to struggle later in the ride. So I try to just stick to my zone, and I try to keep that cadence. And so there are those numbers that in cycling you have those kind of things to absorb you, to keep you occupied, trying to maintain the data.
Wow. I've also read that you've done something called a tandem cycling.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah. So tandem cycling, it's you're in the same entire
same cycle. Yeah.
Same cycle, and one is in the front, one is in the back.
Yeah.
How do you maintain the same sync? And I'm asking you this specifically because earlier when I asked you about whether often you ride alone or you ride with someone else in the same event, you said keeping in sync is not very easy.
Yeah. So in that one, you're supposed to be like completely in sync.
Correct.
And you have to adjust. You have to adjust a lot to the other person. So your pedal stroke from that point onwards, your cadence, this is called cadence, the speed at which your feet rotates, your cadence has to be exactly the same. So if that person is going fast and you cannot match, then you have to figure out the cadence that works for both of you. So that then when either of you is tired, you take a break. So all that has to be completely in sync.
Massively in sync. That's right.
Oh yeah, wow. That tandem ride was also very interesting.
Gateway of India to, or the other way around? Which one? Bombay to Delhi?
Delhi to Bombay.
Delhi to Bombay. Okay. India Gate to Gateway of India.
Gateway of India. Yeah. So this one was a world record actually. It's called World Ultra Cycling Record.
Another world record that you've done.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I'm going to ask you list everything down.
No, I have only one because personal ones I have not gone and created any world record. I mean, official world record.
No, well, the first Indian woman, first Indian, all that is also a world record.
Oh, okay.
Come on, come on. These are, yeah. Okay, tell
So,
me. How was the
so
tandem thing?
tandem was in the end of 2020, like
Hmm,
December 2020. I think we had a short period of time when things were a little bit okay, right?
correct.
And my friend, so there was this amazing rider from Punjab, Kanwar Gill, and he was like, I want to do this world record on a tandem. Somebody told me that you're a good rider, and I was like, wow, this guy is a very good rider, and I'm not very interested in records and all that, but I wanted to ride with him. So
Hmm.
I wanted to see, how he goes about it. Then I was like, oh, okay, we'll. I agreed, and I went to Patiala, and then from there we went to Delhi.
Did you ever train together before
No,
directly starting off?
no,
You didn't.
we didn't even train. So when I reached Patiala, we were thinking we'll do one training ride, and
Hmm.
somehow that also didn't happen. So we were not able to do anything before the event, actual event. So we got
Wow.
on to Delhi, and this ride, G2G, it's called gate to gate, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
G2G, it's
India,
called.
get to get of India. Get.
So 1460 kilometers, and it's organized by Delhi Randomers. Okay.
Okay.
And the first time we started riding was on the event itself, and it just magically fell in place. I was able to match his power and cadence and everything, and I was like, thank God, it fell in place, and I was able to ride. So
Yeah.
and it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So because he was having a world record, he had to have a team who was following, and every toll gate that we go through, you have to note down the time that you go through, take pictures, things. So
Okay.
that person had to log
Oh.
all the details because you're making a world record. So that person was like taking care of us when we stopped, and he would give us this thing. I was like, this is luxury for an ultra rider. He would come and give me juice, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not used to this.
Come pamper
So
me,
that
pamper
that was
me.
good fun. Yeah, that was nice. And
Nice.
and it was December, so north of India was really cold and nice. I loved riding in the cold because I suffered so much that year in the heat. And
Yeah,
before
earlier that was Thailand, right?
Thailand, yeah, and I
Hmm.
came back and I did that Goa, and
Yeah,
I
Goa,
was like,
the Goa Kurg.
I hate Goa. After that, I was like, I'm never going to Goa. It's so hot.
Nice. And what was your timing for the whole G2G?
Yeah, so it was like 5 days, I think, 14,
5 days. Okay.
yeah, 1460
Wow.
kilometers.
And where do you stop again? Do you have these checkpoints here as well where you can
Yeah,
stop and rest and sleep also?
yeah. So we could sleep, and because this was like much more supported, right? So
Hmm.
we could sleep nicely for a couple of hours and then start.
Did you have the same playlist also?
Yes, I had Punjab playlist because
Oh
I was
my
riding with a
God, high
Punjabi.
energy already.
Oh my God, the Punjabi songs were too good. I was like enjoying myself. And because I was sitting in the back, I could leave my hands and I could just ride and do all this
Oh,
while.
all your balle balle moves immediately.
I think we also had a video. It was like too good.
Oh, very nice. So sometimes you've got to share a bunch of these pictures. So we should put it up on, because I've seen many of your pictures and you look like a real badass when you're like cycling on a turn and all that. I love it. So please share a bunch
Sure,
of your
sure.
pictures. I'll definitely put it up on, we have a blog that we also write after every podcast episode.
Okay,
And
nice.
I'd like to share that with all our listeners who will then go and see the blog and the
Sure, sure.
Instagram page and all that. So, okay, so in this, while you were talking about this, the tandem one, you mentioned that this was a very supported
Yeah.
race. What is an unsupported with a supported
So
event?
unsupported is randoming, right? Right.
Hmm.
Like they say it's unsupported, but people generally the organizer at the control point, he gives us food and water and
Okay.
those kind of things and all. But
Hmm.
completely unsupported is like the VREs which I did in 2024 it was in Spain to Italy. It was.
Dude, I have seen that you had put daily updates on Instagram on the
Oh
same one.
God, that was crazy
Oh
hot.
God, that was really crazy. Please tell us. I remember seeing your Instagram post on a daily update today. It was so hot. I was like, so it was so tough and this and that. And on everything, I could see the snake skin coming out of your forehead and all of that. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. Tell us more.
Yeah, so unsupported, you have like very strict rules in purely unsupported races where you cannot take help from anybody on the route also. But general kindness of people come and ask you to take water. But in some races, you're strictly not allowed to take anything from anybody. Randonneering is like where the organizer, if he gives, it's okay. But again, you cannot take help from other people. But in supported, what you have is like a team is there to completely support you.
Okay.
What the advantage is that you don't have to carry things on your bike. Your tools will be in the support vehicle, your water, your food, your change of clothes. So your bike can be like empty or maybe just with
Yeah. So
one
you
bottle.
probably will make better time as well
Yeah,
because your bike is lighter
lighter.
as well.
Yeah, you'll make better time, and you'll make much better time because they will take care of you. They will sponge you when you're too hot. I mean, they didn't do that, but I've seen people do that.
You can.
Yeah. Then yeah, so they take care of you. Like when you're eating, they'll go and pay your bill and save time for you like
Oh, that's
that.
real pampering, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. And many riders, like when they do like very famous events like Race Across America and all, they're like actually fed by the people. They will feed you and they will note down your time when you ate, and they'll tell you like when you're supposed to eat next, and they will stop you and feed you. And those
Wow.
that is a different level of support. Yeah.
You've got to do this as well
Yeah,
at some
I
point.
don't know. I think unsupported is more challenging
Yeah, that is true.
yeah. So
So how was the Spain event
yeah, the
overall?
Spain, it was like, I mean, I had not even thought about it. I did not know about VIA at all. My idea was I had another event that I'd actually registered for. It was called Miglia 1600-kilometer race. Miglia is like 1,000 miles or something in Italian, right? So 1,000 miles is 1600 kilometers. So I had registered for that randonneering LRM in Italy. Then another well-established rider from Pune, he had told me about this event, and this is too crazy. I'm just to 4,000 and with 40,000 meters of elevation, going through all the crazy Alps and all the Pyrenees, Alps, and Pico de Europa, all the mountain ranges, famous ones in Europe. I was like, this is totally crazy, and I don't think I can do this. But initially, I was like, no chance. I'm just not doing it. I told him, and I left it at
All your stories start like this, Grini.
And then the, that Kida got into my head. The registration of that event and everything had closed. Okay, and then I was like, okay, anyway, it's closed. I won't get a spot, so there's no point in thinking about it. Then he said, no, you can still register. I can request the organizers to sign you up if you're okay. Then I was like, okay, give me a week. And I was thinking and thinking and thinking. Then I was like, okay, please ask them.
Go for it.
Yeah. So, and then they came back and they got me into it. I signed up. They also got me like European sponsors for my kit, for my apparel, for my bags, cycling bags. And I got some really, really, really nice bags and stuff.
Lovely.
Yeah. When I started, Cartagena is like the south of Spain. It's a coast in Spain. So the entire length of Spain, and then you cross into France, and then you get to Italy and climb up Italy.
4,000 kilometers, you said, right?
4,000 this was. So I think the very first day itself, most of us wanted to quit. I think 90% of them were suffering from heat. I think one or two people had heat strokes also. It was almost 50 degrees, I think, when some of the...
It's inhuman.
Yeah, the bike computer was showing that much, 49, 50 it was showing. It was crazy hot. And it's not the kind of heat that I'm used to, like even in Chennai and this thing. And the thing is, like in India, when you ride, there are A lot of shops, small things are open. You'll get water, you'll get
Mm.
something, in this ride, I think the first night itself, yeah, I was doing pretty okay actually. In the beginning, I was doing
Mm.
pretty okay in the women's group. I was still in the, I think, first four or something.
Mm.
Then in the night, there was nothing available. I mean, I got food somewhere, and through the night, I had like half a bottle of water. I was drinking like a sip,
One sip.
one sip,
Oh.
and trying to do like 20 kilometers in that sip, and completely run out of water by early morning, and my throat was completely parched. It's like a desert, and then there's nobody, and people don't stop and help you like how you are used to in Asia. So
Mm.
I saw this person, I think some farmer, he saw me on a bike, and I think there they associate people on bikes to some low grade stuff. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay. Mm.
he saw me and I asked him for water, but he just walked past me, he just rode past me. I was like completely parched, and there was no option. Like I had to ride like that. I had to like manage like that. And somehow I reached some petrol station or something, and then I was able to get something. The first night itself was like so horribly dehydrated, and once I got some food and water and all that, it was little
Some
better.
energy came back to the body, guys.
Yeah. Then
Oh
I
my
was,
God, fuel for the body.
yeah.
Mm.
Then I made that video where I said, like, I just had to mentally think of it as one pedal stroke after the other. How much ever the physical suffering was, I had to just keep moving forward. Sometimes there's no way, you have to push through that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You
That's
have
true.
to push through that. Like that physical discomfort is so much, then, and you can do nothing about it.
Then does it get better after 3-4 days, like in such a in this kind of
Yeah.
in this specific ride?
Yeah, I mean, your body gets into a rhythm after some
Rhythm.
time, like you get used to the pain and the discomfort and everything, and then I don't know, at some point you start enjoying it. I don't know how to say it, but yeah.
It's almost like a challenge, right? You're overcoming a challenge, and you
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah,
not bad, I did it today.
yeah,
So let's do it tomorrow, that kind of thing.
yeah. So
Wow.
and among in Europe, I think Spain was the nicest country because Spanish people are sweet. Like except for that
Mm.
farmer, maybe he thought I was somebody who will take something from it. But
Correct.
otherwise, a lot of people. I remember, like I was climbing near Pico de Europa, which is like a range towards the north of Spain, and it was hot and it was really very tiring over there. But one lady stopped and she was like, my house is like kilometers from here. I know how tough this is. And she stopped and she gave me some water and she forced me to take that. And she was like so sweet. So,
How sweet.
yeah. So, people, what I feel, after all these events, I feel like general people, especially in smaller towns of any country, the highly developed country or undeveloped country or like India or any place, rural places, people are always like out to help you and ready to, they understand you. There is that some kind of a understanding, a kinship, some kind of a
Kinship.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is always there. But if you go to a city, any big city, like if you're riding in Delhi city, if you're riding in Mumbai, if you're riding in Bangalore city is still okay, but there people will help you. But large cities, nobody cares. Large cities in Italy, nobody cares. In Madrid, nobody cares. So it's like that in big places. Yeah, city people are generally not bothered.
Then they are busy and they are continuing with their life. You continue with your
Yeah,
life. That's the kind of
yeah,
where they come from, probably.
probably. Yeah, and they're like, okay, maybe somebody else will help this person. So yeah, that's how the world is.
Yeah, that's how the world is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many different events. And how many countries have you
Cycle.
ridden in so far?
Not many. It's like some parts of Europe, UK, Italy, Amsterdam, then France, Spain. Yeah, Spain. Spain, I feel very proud about. Although the 4,000-kilometer VR race I could not complete, but I covered the entire length of Spain, like from south to north, and almost crossed over to the into France.
And then why did you, or what were the circumstances why you stopped?
The heat just got to
Just
me. Like,
got
I mean, like, I was like so done with the heat. I think
God.
mentally also at some point you're like, okay, I'm just done. I knew I had the legs. Honestly speaking, I could ride, I could have ridden, but I was
Then
at
when you
some point.
stop midway, what do you do? I mean, how do you manage
It's
your
very
logistics?
difficult. So sometimes a DNF is much more difficult than riding through the event. You know?
Yeah.
So I had this horrible experience after finishing this event. I mean, after the DNF. So I stopped in a place called Pomplano in Spain, and then I had very tough time finding a hotel. Then I managed to finally. This was like 4 a.m. and that night was horribly cold. There was
Oh,
no
God.
hotel. I wanted to sleep, okay, and I was not finding any hotel on
Ouch.
booking.com. Anything that I was finding, it was like very desolate. And so I found some residential neighborhood. It was like a small town, and like when you enter the neighborhood, there are some bus stops where you can shelter. I couldn't find a bus stop also. There was a bench. I went and sat, pulled my down jacket, my everything, whatever I had to cover, and to warm up myself. And I stayed there for like 2 hours or something. I couldn't sleep because it was so cold. I just couldn't sleep, and so it was like not finding any accommodation to.
Harsh.
So that mentally I was like breaking down at that time. I was like, this is not worth it. I'm not able to ride, I'm not able to sleep, I'm not able to find an accommodation. So all these things slowly start adding up. These are things that happen normally also, but when you're like at the third, fourth, fifth day, it just sort of, it just makes
Correct. It's human, man. It's a human mind. Yeah. Often mind over body and all that is also there.
Yeah.
Like you said, you could have ridden more, but again,
yeah,
probably everything together. And then how did you get back? So
so finally I found a hotel. Then there is this chain of buses in Italy, Italian thing, which is all over Europe. It's called Flixbus, right? So you can take that and go to different smaller places and all that. So I booked a Flixbus from that town and to go to the end line of this race, which is Giovanizzo in Italy. And that would have been a very long journey. I had to cross some parts of France, Pyrenees, that hilly part of France, go through some parts of Italy, and then get into the coast of Giovanizzo. So there, what happened was that next morning I had booked it. I went to the bus station. Those people just refused to take me in. I had booked a slot. So you have to book your bag separately. And I had booked a slot for the bike separately. And because I did not have a complete I put it in a wrapper. And usually you can take it. They said you can't take it, and they refused to take it. So the next day I had to go find a Decathlon, get a proper bag for it.
Do these things stress you out?
Yeah, so I missed the first thing. I had to stay one more night in that hotel. Next day I had to go, and so I booked one more, and then got there. And it's always a challenge in that that bus. So then it was a long journey. So these kind of things are like makes you feel like, oh my God, I don't want to come to this country.
Yeah, it leaves a bad taste, right? That's true.
So it's a hassle. It's very tough to get back to your spot if you miss that thing. Sometimes I feel it's easier to ride than to take a bus or transport.
That's an additional motivation for you to complete it when you feel like another in your mind to tell no, it's so painful to do this, let's just push forward, but this cycling in this 50-degree heat is just crazy, man.
It's like the Sahara Desert, right? You don't realize how hot it is because it's just above Africa, that part, and then you have Spain, so it's like really, really hot.
So if you think back among all the races you have done, would this be the toughest by a big margin?
It is. I've done a lot of tough ones, but yeah, this I think was probably the tough. Not by a big margin. A lot of things were tough. Like
wow. So supported versus unsupported for you, it's always unsupported.
I like unsupported. Yeah. So there was one race also in Sri Lanka, which I did in 2023, end of 2023, I think, which was October 23, after PBP.
Okay.
It was a supported race, and So yeah, it was really nice. I was feeling all nice and pampered. The only problem with me is I feel like super conscious when I have people, like, I feel like they are sleep deprived. It was like middle of the night and they're all so tired. Looking at their faces, I'm feeling so guilty, like, oh my god, why do they have to go through this? I like doing
Mm-hmm.
this, but although they are the ones who supported me and all that, so that for me, supported, I have that feeling like I don't want to trouble other people and make them go through stuff. And yeah, although it was a really nice event, it was completely supported and sponsored and everything, but I had that feeling like always like I'm bothering somebody and like
Ah,
tiring them.
oh my God. So you said that Spain was probably the toughest international event that you've actually done. What about an Indian event?
India toughest, some of the toughest were in from Bangalore itself. We have like Gates of Heaven, which is actually should have been Gates of Hell.
Hmm.
So that was really tough.
What is this route?
It goes through all the hills of Karnataka. So it's like the Western Ghats, Chikmagalur,
Ui,
Coorg,
ui.
everything. So
Wow, riding up only in a car, driving up in a car when you're doing that, you pin bed only,
yeah,
wee, the car will go up and you're doing that
Mulangiri,
in a, yeah,
Mulyangiri,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that one. Certain grades in that hill are so high that your front wheel will come off, and
Oh,
so you have to be like putting your weight forward and riding also. So it's like really
and in such,
tough.
for example, in such a stretch, how is it riding down versus riding up? Because riding down is like clutch, you have to hold on to your brakes almost.
Very good question. My
Hmm.
biggest fear, I can climb. My biggest fear is riding downhill because I have fallen. The second time I did Anchetti, so I've done Anchetti I think 4 or 5 times, something like that. Every time I have fallen because the Anchetti is like very steep, and when you come downhill, you have
Hmm.
like -12, -15 gradient and all. That's really steep, and there are turns in that. So
Hmm.
the first time I fell was like there was a turning point, and I'm seeing this girl. She's riding like right in front of me, and she went and fell. And I'm like following the same curvature. And I'm like, Shilpa, I'm going to fall right next to you. And I'm like thinking where to put myself position. I know I'm going up in the air, and I'm like falling right next to her. Thank God I did not fall
Oh,
on her. Bike and me fell right next to her, and it was a thorn bush and next to a boulder. And then this
very exciting.
very exciting.
One boulder bhi hai, thorn bush bhi hai.
This local villager was going by in his motorbike. He stopped and pulled the thorn bushes out, pulled us out of that, and we both are laughing over there. My bike was in such a horrible state, and some of that 200 I managed to finish on the dot. I just managed to finish. First was 2018, which I did not finish. Right, my first
Hmm.
edition. Second time I
Yes,
finished
yes.
on the dot. Just managed. So
Oh.
from then I have this crazy fear of downhill. So I am like
Hmm.
completely braking. So at times when you're braking, right, your hand aches so much
Yeah,
when you're
correct.
completely on brakes. You have to stop the bike, rest your hands, shake it out, then restart, because it's you cannot control the bike because your bike is going down so fast. At
Hmm.
there was one event. It's called BGB, Bangalore Goa
Okay.
Bangalore 1200.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was last year, I think. And
Hmm.
we had to go to Yerkad. We had to go to some other hills and all that. So first hill was Yerkad. When I was coming down from Yerkad, I was on full brakes, and my brake was making so much sound. It was
He'll be
screaming,
screaming.
screaming like some lorry is going by, and people are like staring at me like, why is this girl like this? And then that event, I had to give up at the midpoint, although I was in time for all the checkpoints and all that, because in the night, middle of the night, I had to go through a downhill after Wayanad. So I had
Hmm.
gone through a couple of hills already, and the brake was completely gone.
Screaming. Hmm.
And at that time, I did not know that if I had carried a spare brake pad, I could have replaced the brake pad. And so every time,
Oh.
every ride, you also learn these kind of
Learn
things,
one new thing.
one new
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
So if only I had carried that, I could have probably finished that ride. And my brake was completely gone. And the next 10 kilometers or so was like complete downhill, middle of the
Hmm.
night, bad roads. The downhill in Kerala on some of these hills, because it's water flowing and all, no, it's got craters. So
Hmm.
it's dangerous. So I was like, okay, I do like really foolish things, but not I'll
Not
not risk.
John Leva.
Yeah, exactly. I'll not risk my life. So I was like, okay, better stop here. And
Like bunch of these places you've gone, there are a lot of wildlife and all that, right? Ever encountered something like that on your in your ride?
so BGP's previous edition, when I was returning through the Dandeli forest, I did not see it, but I could hear some strange animal sounds. And I
Hmm.
don't know, I had this feeling that there was some leopard. It's just this weird feeling when you get, when you know that some eyes are on you, right? So,
Ooh.
and then it was becoming dark, and I was like, okay, I am not going to ride through this patch in the dark. Although
Hmm.
it would have been super nice to ride, but it was a very scary forest. So I think that was the scariest because I felt like there was a wild animal. Then in
Hmm.
last GOH, I think I had a
What is
GOH
GOH?
is Gates of Heaven. Yeah.
Okay, Gates of Heaven.
So in that ride, I was getting into Kerala, crossing the border from Karnataka into Kerala, and they were bursting crackers somewhere, and there was a traffic jam. I was like, "What happened over here?"
Hmm.
I asked somebody Malayalam, and they were like, "There is a
Hmm.
elephant over there," and they were trying to drive the elephant off the road.
Oh, wild elephant
Wild
coming there. Oh,
elephant, yeah.
that's
Then even here
okay,
in
okay,
our
okay.
backyard in Bangalore also this Anchetti ride. So I think this is
Hmm.
fourth edition of my Anchetti. When I was riding, villagers asked us to stop, and they were driving off elephant. So elephant is pretty common. Oh, so once in Coorg when I was riding this the 1200 pre-COVID.
Goa
Yeah,
Coorg
yeah.
Spice
I
one.
was
Hmm.
getting into the elephant territory over there, and so there's this very sweet bus driver, mini bus, okay, and it was getting late.
Hmm.
I think around 9:30 or something in the night, and he told me like this is Ane Bharate, this is elephant area, and
Hmm.
then I was like I know, and I know that there are some riders somewhere ahead, somewhere behind. He's like, don't go there, it's not safe. And I was like, it's okay, I'll be fine. He kept telling me, don't go. And he's a driver, he knows that area very well. He was,
Hmm.
but I have
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
race, I have to go through this route only. I cannot change the route. So then he followed me with the passengers in the bus.
Passengers would not have thanked you, but this is so
I was like,
sweet.
so he put the extra lights and all in the front, full light for me, and he followed me slowly in my slow this thing I was going, and he was following me, that bus driver, for I think 10 to 15 minutes. He followed me, and I was again feeling so guilty, feeling so
I
horrible
know,
for the
correct.
people sitting in the bus, and but they all must be
Hmm.
like cursing me, right? Like, why is this?
But this is so
Yeah,
kind, man, and you've not even
I
asked for
didn't even
help.
ask for anything, and
There are people are
people just do
nice.
this, and India is like on the top. Like Indian people are the best, I feel like. I mean, next to Thai. Indian people are like
Yeah.
so kind and so sweet.
Oh, that is really
And
nice,
talking about
man.
elephants, I have this very funny
Hmm.
encounter in Thailand. So
Hmm.
that was this recent edition of Isan 2024, and again the
Hmm.
elephant area, and they had told us like you will encounter elephants over there. So I had almost covered the entire distance and entering a town. So I thought there will not be
Hmm.
any elephant over here, and
Hmm.
I could see the town lights little ahead of me. And I was like nicely going with my music and everything. I was riding, and suddenly I thought it was like a rock. It was coming quite into the road, and I almost went into. Then I saw two lights looking at me, and that
Oh.
that elephant looked at me and got scared, and it ran to the side. I looked at it, I got scared, and I shot. We both went in like different directions, and I was like, okay.
Thank God for big mercies. It was different
Yeah.
directions.
So then I was like, okay, this elephant territory is not over yet. Maybe I should just go and sleep somewhere in some hotel. And I called the organizer, I stopped and called and found a hotel nearby, and woke up next morning and kept riding.
Wow. Oh, multiple elephant
Yeah,
stories
yeah,
you
a lot of
have.
elephants. But that was really
Lot of
fun.
elephant
Then
stories.
later on, I came to know
Hmm.
that was like a family of four elephants. The other guys had seen, guys who came after me, they had seen more
Hmm.
elephants, I believe. So yeah, good decision that I went and slept.
Hmm. Good decision. Though I find them like elephants are the cutest cutest animals in the world,
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
really cute, but
But
very scary.
yeah, so far as you don't have like an encounter
Yeah,
with them at little distance, I mean, oh my God, they cannot be
yeah.
cute as
The
something cuter
baby
than an
ones, yeah.
elephant. That too, baby elephants. Oh
Oh,
my
cute.
God, I love them.
Seriously.
Yeah, I love them.
You
Oh my
know,
God.
the way I distinguish what do you call completely rural area versus a village
Hmm.
versus a forest. In villages, when you enter the village, you have village dogs. And village dogs are
Hmm.
like, they hate cyclists. They'll run after you, chase you, and try to bite you and all that. But at some point, sometimes it's so nice to see a dog because it is inhabited place. It's nice. At that time, I was like, I wish there was a dog over here. I was like,
I would have chased the
ah,
leopard or whatever that
yeah,
was
yeah.
away.
I've been
Yeah.
bitten by a dog twice. Yeah,
Oh,
while
you
cycling.
have?
So
How easy is it to get medical aid like this if you're bitten in the middle of your ride?
you just have to put
Okay.
some alcohol and keep riding. I mean, you can't do anything in the middle there. You have to
Hmm.
finish the ride and take it.
Yeah, immediately
Yeah,
you can't, but
finish.
finish
Yeah,
the ride and
finish
take
the
it.
ride and
Hmm.
take it. Then, so that was very
Wow.
scary.
And still, after all this exciting dog bites and all that, you still love dogs.
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
love
I
dogs.
like it.
No, most dogs, and now
That's nice.
over a period of time, now I've learned how to manage dogs while riding. When you're aggressive
Hmm.
with them, then they'll get more aggressive. When you start telling them that
Hmm.
sweet nothings, then they're like start wagging
Ah,
their tails.
the voice that
Yeah,
you
they
talk
love
back has to be
they
like that.
love that when you talk to them in sweet voice, and I'm like, go home and sleep now. What your mama doing? And then they'll be like wagging their tails.
So cute.
Uh,
Oh God, I love dogs too, man. I really do. Oh my God. So you've had like so many victories, personal victories. I'm not talking about like world number one kind of thing. Personal victories, which is the one that's closest to your heart? You have any like you felt really good that you did it,
I
kinds?
think that would be PBP. Yeah,
Mm.
because it's like such a prestigious 100-plus-year-old event, and it's like the first time I couldn't finish it. So that was also that added to it. So the pleasure of finishing, and I finished it strong. Like I took good breaks, I slept well, and in the end, I raced to the finish. So the last 2 hours, I raced with one guy. We both were like going all out, and we had so much fun. I don't even know that guy. He was an American. We just rode like mad in the end, and it was I loved that experience. And PvP is like
Wow.
it's like a celebration of randonneuring. You have people in France supporting the entire route. So families come out, put their chairs, and they put little tables with food
Oh,
and drinks and all that. So French people are very crazy about cycling, and they love to support cyclists. And I have these lovely memories of I think a young boy and his father, middle of the night in some smaller town. They had, and I was very tired at that point. They had kept some food and a blanket, and it was cold. So we got down, sat on the chair, they wrapped that blanket on me, and they gave me something to eat and drink. And I was like, wow.
people are amazing, amazing. But you hear of such stories when you do these marathons, these famous marathons like the New York Marathon, Boston, even Bombay
Yeah.
Marathon, and people will say that the people who are on the side of the road, they are so
So,
helpful.
yeah.
There are some who will just run with you in the
Yeah.
last, couple of kilometers just to give you the
Yeah.
enthusiasm. Yes, you can do it. Let's do it together. And you're talking of stories very much like that. That is really, really
Yeah.
nice.
So,
Wow.
so that would be the one.
So do you still run or you've almost
No,
stopped?
I would love to run, but I don't think I have that much of time to spare now.
Hmm. So what's your next event that you've signed up
The
for?
next one coming up in August is London, Edinburgh, London.
Oh, you've done this before as
Yeah, I
well, right?
finished it late. So this, I have something to,
Okay.
yeah,
Another
a
personal
bone to
challenge for
pick.
you.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. My God. Wow, Grini, this is so nice. Tell me one thing. So when you go on vacations, does is cycling a part of your generic vacation that you go with family and friends and all
Uh,
that?
I sometimes I go on cycling vacations alone because my family, I think they want to do other things also. So I think when my son was smaller,
Hmm.
8 or something, we had I think Bali, we did a small cycling vacation. But as
Hmm.
as he started growing older, and he wants to do different things, so it's mostly like regular vacationing stuff.
Regular vacation. Good. So you have enough of cycling
Yeah,
opportunities to see the
yeah,
world, by riding
yeah.
your
It's
cycle.
very
So
different experience seeing the world through when you're on, like it's a very humbling experience, it's very different.
it's a slow way of exploring. You are really interacting with
Yeah,
locals. When we say that when we go as a tourist, we don't really interact so much
yeah,
with locals. It's more of, a restaurant owner or
right.
a
Touristy. Yeah,
Airbnb owner or something, which is very different from what you are interacting. You're going to someone's house and asking them for ice and water, and they're giving you a blanket. That is really
yeah,
actual, proper
yeah.
knowing people and
And
all.
the world is like the same, right? Everywhere. That is what I feel like, what I've learned through cycling.
Oh my God. Oh, lovely, lovely, Greeny. You are so full of beautiful stories, man. Oh my God, you have to also mention that you have a manga comic after you.
No,
That
no,
is
not
a
after. I'm like a little character in.
a
Yeah,
character in it. Oh, come on. That's a very, very cool
yeah,
thing, man. I saw that on your Instagram
yeah.
stories. To include that as one of your
Oh,
personal
yeah, totally.
achievements.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So thanks to my Japanese rider friend.
Yes, you must be having like your community of
Yeah, yeah.
riders, the
We're
friends
we're
that you
very
have must be like really
yeah, very
global,
thick
right?
community of friends because I think
Hmm.
randonneuring is not super competitive, right? So the kind of friendships that we have is like very enduring, very, very nice.
That's so nice. And once upon a time, you said you were shy and you didn't like, when you were in Philadelphia, you were scared to go into a gym because you were shy. And from there, you are now having people who are so close to that they make you a part of their manga comic. That is so
Yeah.
cool. That is very
Yeah.
cool. Tell me to me. So, what are the different achievements or feats that you've had?
So we were talking about super randonneuring cycles, right? So
Mm,
I have 12 of those I have completed. Then I have done these long distance events across the country, um, west of
okay.
India to east, from Gujarat to Assam, 3,100 kilometers. Um,
My
yeah,
God.
that I think that was the longest I did.
Beautiful.
Uh,
Mm.
Apart from that, these are the different LRMs, like the 2,000 kilometer twice I've done. And the first time I was the first Indian woman to compete. Second time, when I finished the Isan Thailand 2,000 kilometer, I was the first overall to finish, even among the men. Um, yeah, yeah. So
This is awesome. I'm having such joy listening to your achievements. It's so
yeah, so
nice.
in ultra cycling, I think I've read somewhere some of the other women also have mentioned women are particularly suited for ultra endurance. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I
really?
think there is something that we have extra compared to the guys. So of late, I am doing pretty good compared to the men also. Like some of the timings is right up with the top guys. So yeah.
You were chosen by another male rider to be a part of the world record, which means he could have chosen another guy if he thought they were better. So you are at top there, Grini. Come on.
Yeah.
I feel great pride that
Thank you so much.
I have you as a friend, as a guest on my podcast. It feels
It's
very
an honor to
nice.
be here.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to, publishing this episode and getting it out and having all my listeners listen to you, man. So you've been a inspiration to me for sure. And just listening to you is such great joy. I mean, even if I put inspiration aside, it's just so nice listening to the different things you've done and achieved, and
Yeah.
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I had a lovely time talking to you, Brini. I hope you had a nice time as well. It was
Likewise,
like,
absolutely. I loved it, Revati. You're such an amazing host. I don't think I have had such a detailed level discussion about my journey so far. It's absolute pleasure to be with you.
oh,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you so much. See you. Bye, Grini.
Sure.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Grini, you're an absolute inspiration. And honestly, if this episode doesn't make one want to chase their own adventures, I don't know what will. For my listeners, you can follow Grini on her Instagram page. She's Grinshina, that is Grinshina. We will link out her page in our show notes. Also, Grini has shared a bunch of photos of her many cycling trails and events that she's been on from around the world, and we will share those on our Instagram and Substack pages as well. We are called Misadventures of a Sneaker on Instagram and on Substack, and I highly recommend you to go and check them out. Also, if you enjoyed listening to this episode, would you like to support my team by buying us a coffee? If yes, you can head over to our show notes and click on support to contribute any amount you'd like. It will be a huge morale booster for us. Thank you and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.